How's it going, everyone? My name is Coda, and welcome back to another episode in my survival world. Today, I've got some big plans for the episode, but before we get started, I wanted to let you all know that I did start a Discord server. Link will be in the description and in my channel bio, so feel free to stop by and start a conversation. But now, keeping in theme with our last build, we are going to be building another pretty important farm today. But unlike last episode's build, this farm is going to be somewhere not quite as sunny. Because I don't know about y'all, but the winter is kind of getting to me, and I think it's time that I took a vacation somewhere just a little bit warmer. That's right, today's episode, we are going to build a farm here in the nether. And actually, we'll probably build 2 or 3 farms. Because you see, our nether right now is a little slacking. The only thing we've done here is mine for all this netherite you see me wearing. Which, I haven't even exhausted my supply of TNT yet. So maybe we'll also take a crack at that later. But as you can clearly see, there are many improvements that need to be made to this nether hub, and I'm probably also going to reposition it somewhere a little more central to where our base is expanding. And also, to build a gold farm, you kind of need a nether waste, and as you can see by the particles around me, we are not in a nether waste. Now, of course, we can't just do a gold farm. We're also going to include some kind of a Piglin Bartering trading system. I've got a couple ideas in mind, but that'll also be included in the hub that we decide to build. This block that I'm standing on marks the edge of the Soul Sand Valley, and one step this way and we're in nether waste for about 150 blocks. And right there you see that torch, that is the tunnel that leads directly to the ancient city that we explored in episode 6. And even further down this way is the mining desert, and actually where we spawned in this world. That makes this stretch of tunnel here probably the best place to put a centralized nether hub, and the fact that it's in the nether waste, you can't really beat that. So I'm going to narrow down where I want the center of this nether hub to be, and then I've got a lot of digging to do. This one. This is the block. What's that one thing they say? No regrets? Well, let's hope I don't regret this. That wasn't so bad. Look at that. Oh, what the? It was supposed to take out the bedrock. Well, I guess we gotta do it again. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Now we gotta do the other way. It's getting there, I guess. And we're done. No, I'm just kidding. We are so not done.
I shouldn't do it.
Now this is a pretty good start. I just have to work my way through this. You know, the indestructible block right above my head. Yeah, that'll be fun. Okay, I've got my ender chest, and that should have like all the supplies that I need. And this is the top of the nether. So we're gonna try and, if I can, hold on. We're gonna try and get ourselves up into this corner, and we made it. Okay. Now we need to find 085. This is the center of our nether hub. And pretty soon there's gonna be a gigantic hole right where I'm standing, but it's pretty soon for you guys and probably like 2 to 3 hours away from me, so not once has anyone said that a bad idea starts with 2 pieces of TNT. Not once. Okay. That didn't work either. Dang it. Oh, it worked! How did it? Okay. First try, definitely. And that wasn't too hard, but this hole does need to be about 4 times bigger, so yeah. We've got one more block to go on this layer, and it's honestly going a lot faster than I thought it would. I just hope we don't run out of TNT. Yeah, we'll be alright. And that's the second layer done. Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the episode. Dakota's pro Minecrafting tip of the day. Today's tip, as you might guess, put a floor underneath wherever you are going to be mining bedrock. Not a floor that's 7 blocks underneath where you need to be. Because let me tell you, the amount of times I fell into this hole is just awful. So save yourself the hassle, put a floor underneath first, or at least hold your digging until the end. You know, for my first time ever breaking bedrock, this actually went a lot smoother than I was expecting it to. And now that we got this big old hole dug out, it's time for the gold farm, which is gonna go right up there. Now, of course, before starting any insane farm, you need to do an insane resource grind. So here I am collecting all the resources that I'm gonna need for this mega farm. We are gonna be building Ilmango's crazy insane gold farm. And let me tell you, this grind was crazy. This is 9 shulker boxes of materials. It might be the most I've ever prepared for a farm, like ever. Now, of course, if you've seen the farm, you know it requires a ton of magma blocks, and they are not the most fun to get. But on top of that, we also have A, a ton of glass, but B, look at all of these minecarts that go into the killing chamber. It is a good thing I built that iron farm last episode, because I would not have had enough iron to make all those minecarts. It's just crazy. It used all the iron that I've gotten from that farm already. On top of that, I also created a bunch of comparators, repeaters, all that stuff, just to store all the items. And the amount of items that this thing produces, it's going to be a challenge to try and work with that. But if I'm being honest, I'm pretty much just stalling at this point. I really need to get this farm going. Boom. All done. Nope, sadly, we are very far from being done. This is also where all of my iron went. Ridiculous. Okay, I'll admit that wasn't too bad, but now we have to do all of the spawning platforms, and it's not going to be bad, it's just going to take a long time. But I'm sure it'll make a great time lapse. This was one way to spend my Saturday, I suppose. I am left with barely a half a stack of magma blocks and almost a full stack of glass blocks. That is every block for this farm placed. So yeah, we're pretty much almost done with this. And with those final alarm pigmen in place, the farm is completely finished. This was the first gold farm that I have ever built in Minecraft, believe it or not. And I picked a doozy of a first farm. But hopefully the grind pays off and all the gold blocks that we get will make our Piglin Bartering that much better and that much easier to do. And just thinking about all the stuff that I'm going to get, I think it is worth it. Now the only thing I have left to do here is the storage system to kind of filter out all the bad stuff you don't actually want and keep all the good stuff that we need for trading. And like a gold farm, I've never built a storage system in the nether before, so I am a little hesitant to start, but I think it'll be okay. And I mean, what's the worst that could go wrong? We got the hard part out of the way. Now, as you can see, the farm is working perfectly, and I did just get done with a rather long AFK session, but sadly, I did forget to record the time lapse for it, so sadly, you guys don't get to see that. But as you can see below me, we have all the chests in place and even some of the item deletion mechanisms in place for everything to be sorted in this farm and filtered out. Now you notice I do have my sounds off because this farm sounds completely awful. But down here you can see the item filters are very simple. They're ones that we've used before by Impulse SV, and they just come down from every corner, and once they hit the end here, all the swords that aren't being filtered out are destroyed in that little mechanism you see there on each of the 4 corners. Pretty nifty, right? Now then, we've still got a few things left to tackle. Mainly, of course, the main area of our nether hub here, and all of these guys whom we are going to be bartering with. Now, originally, I had planned to place them here, on these gold blocks here, around the center of the nether hub, kind of like a clock. But after looking up a lot of videos and farm designs for these piglin bartering systems, I figured it would be a challenge trying to fit them in this way. So we're going to scrap that idea and move on to a different one. Now we do have a lot of space to work with here, and I've got a very interesting build palette in mind for this area. And interesting is definitely a word for it. But basically it involves this array of blocks. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be interesting. But let me tell you, those bee nests were not very easy to get. I spent probably 3 hours farming birch trees just to get those. But now that that grind is over, we can start on the next grind, which is actually making this place look good and then getting those farms in place for the piglin, which is actually the entire reason we're doing this. So it's kind of funny that they're going last. But we did need another hub anyway, so, you know, whatever. 2 birds with 1 stone, I guess? Now, I know this isn't the most conventional gradient, but honestly, it really works here. And you're probably sitting there thinking like, did he just blend blackstone through gold into netherrack? Yes. Yes, I did. And I think it turned out pretty well, if I'm being honest. Now, the only thing I didn't include was this deep slate gold ore here, but the rest of it, you can see the gradient. I mean, I'm not crazy, right? No, I am not crazy. And we also did the same thing with the dark oak. You transition it through strip mangrove into the planks and into the netherrack, and you get this awesome gradient. Now, this layout wasn't exactly what I had in mind in the beginning, but it's kind of how it evolved, I guess. Oh, and you may notice my levels down there. Yeah, I've been AFKing just a little bit at that farm that we built. This main space isn't quite finished yet. I'm still mulling over a couple of details, but it's about time we start working on the actual piglin bartering farm that's going to go probably down one of the hallways. Now let's see, that's our home hallway. That's going to be the ancient city hallway. That's the desert hallway. That means this one is going to be empty. Seems like the perfect spot to put a piglin bartering farm, if you ask me. I'm just gonna boom. So I managed to get 12 piglins trapped in boats, which means we'll need 6 modules on either side of this hallway. And I could always group them together, but that's not as fun, and I want to be able to see all the piglins while they're trading. So we'll have 2 different farms, technically, 6 on each side, and 2 different storage systems, which means I need a ton of chests. Yeah, I'm not even collecting all of the items that the piglins are going to give me, and I still need this many chests. It's kind of ridiculous. But hopefully it means we won't ever have to go and farm up stuff like blackstone or quartz or even gravel for that matter, ever again. That's kind of a builder's dream, don't you think? It is a great thing that I had to mine all of those birch trees because I need 3 1/4 stacks of chests just for the chests, not including all of the hoppers that I'm going to need for this. Looks like this entire box of birchwood is going to come in handy. And that's good because I don't think I could have used it literally anywhere else. I don't think I'm gonna need chests ever again. At least I had better not. I'm so sorry, dwindling iron supply, but your duty calls. It's really painful to watch all that iron just disappear into 3 stacks of hoppers. Oh, Iron Farm, what would I do without you? Probably a lot of crying. Definitely a lot of crying. You saw nothing. Super fast chest placing montage. Go! Ouch. Okay, I just finished putting in half of the modules, and it did take me a little bit, but that's just because I'm a little rusty when it comes to redstone. But now we gotta get this side mirrored onto the other side. It works perfectly. Alright, this is your warning. I am a builder, in case you didn't know. So I'm gonna try and fumble my way through this explanation because I can't just leave you guys hanging without an explanation of what's going on here. Starting with probably the simplest part, this is just your regular item sorter. We have all of these item filters not quite set up yet, but we do have the filter blocks in them. Once we start collecting all the drops from the piglins, we'll set these filters, and they should work perfectly. Now this chest on the end is going to collect all the stuff like water bottles, soul speed books, the iron boots, the random stuff that we're not actually going to filter out or want. We are going to collect some of them just in case we do need like a soul speed book along the way, or, you know, some of the fire resistance potions, some of the stuff that can be useful but we don't actually need to collect a ton of. And then after these chests fill up, everything else will go into a lava disposal system. Alright, that was the easy part. Starting at the beginning here. Eventually there will be a trapdoor here where you open it up and then you put your gold into this barrel, and then the barrel will drop it into this chest here, and then the hopper minecart will pick it up about a stack at a time and cart it along this track all the way to the end. Now at hopper minecart speed, it'll deposit 1 ingot into every dispenser every time. So it'll go down, deposit 1 in each, and then come back and deposit another 1 in each. And the number being even is very important for the efficiency of this farm. Now, once the hopper makes its way all the way down here, it activates this button rail, which is where the farm process begins. The button rail sends a signal all the way down the line and activates each module, or should I say each pair of modules, and starts the trading process with the piglins. Basically how the system works is whenever there is an item on top of the pressure plate, the system activates. And if we put some more items up here, collect this item, which will be a gold ingot, another one drops out, just like that. And these blocks being mud, they were soul sand, is actually very important because mud and soul sand are not actually full blocks. They're just a hair lower, which means that we can trap piglins in here with walls on every side, and they'll still be able to collect the items from right here, which is honestly the only reason this thing works. But now, why do we have to jumpstart the farm? So really, the farm works fine whenever there's actual items in it, but to begin, this block needs to be powered here, which will power these two. Powering this block is what creates the whole system here. As you can see, the pressure plate on top powers this system, which then powers this block, which flips this torch, which turns off the signal up top. Once the block is picked up, the signal gets flipped, so it's on right now. Oh, if I could stop picking it up. There we go, it's on right now, and it fell off. Okay, it's on right now. Torch is off. That means the system's off. When the piglin picks up the item, it flips and you can hear the dispenser clicking. So I'll put some more items in here. I'll throw one on here. And you guys can see it happening. See, it flips and then another item gets dispensed and it flips again. But as you can see, this thing powers each and every time. And the thing that we do whenever we start the system is power that block and this piece of dust here. So really, it's just a way to kickstart the system. And the reason that they're paired up into twos, as you can see, is really just to save space on the cost of the resources. Because if I put repeaters in each and every one of these slots, I'd be running out of repeaters so fast. But if you wanted to, you could make them, technically each and every one of them, independent. But as you saw, it looks really cool whenever they drop in pairs. And I'm honestly a huge fan of how that came out. But now, back to right here. The piglin will be stuck in this little 1-block area. They'll have nowhere to throw the items but down this hopper line. And this hopper line leads into a dropper vader. That's a rather simple one, and it just leads over into these item filters. I had to do some crafty things with repeaters here just to keep the redstone signal from accidentally activating this and shooting out too much gold. They're all in a 4-tick delay, but only in even pairs because that creates the best looking effect going down the line. So we have one delay here, but those two aren't delayed, and then that's a delay, so that's 2, there's 2, there's 2, and then there's 2 on each and every extension. I hope I explained that well enough. It's probably my third time trying to explain it to y'all, but obviously I cut out all the stuff that didn't really make sense. But if you guys want a more in-depth look at this, I can always create a tutorial for you, and if enough people are interested in it, I could do that a lot sooner than later. But now that we finished getting all of the ugliness out of the way, which I actually think kind of looks really cool, and I am very proud of it, we're going to cover it all up and create a room that is very opulent and wealthy feeling, something that complements this farm very well. We are getting a lot of gold, we're trading a lot of items. This room should represent all that wealth that we're going to accumulate. I just got to think of what I want to do. And while I'm thinking, I should probably get these piglins in here. Alright, so we've got this so far, and next we are going to be doing the piglins and trying to get them in here, so I'm going to replace all of these with redstone blocks. That way it locks the hoppers, and we can use gold to lure the piglins into where they belong. Also got to remember to put these carpets down, like that. And yeah, as you can see, hoppers are locked. Just do exactly what we want. The only thing I did forget was more glass, so we can actually hold the piglins in place. That part's kind of important. Alright, now we should be good. Okay, I got that bridged up. You can get to every single one of these. I think we're good to catch some piglins. But I guess we already caught the piglins, so I guess we're good to lure some piglins now. Hey, buddies. Long time no see. Okay, we are going to start with... not dying, hopefully. Hold on. I think a chest piece might be a good idea. There we go. We're gonna start with you guys. Oh, they are angry. Okay, you guys might hate me now. You'll love me in a little bit after your imprisonment. Get in there. Over there. No, over. Go. Get the gold. Get the gold. Go get the gold. Ooh, easy. 1. Go get it. Yep. It's a good thing they take forever to trade, or else that would be a lot more difficult. Oh, he just stole my boots. Okay. That was easy enough. Boat number 2. This guy's got the fancy pants. Honestly, this might be easier than dealing with villagers. And that says a lot about villagers. Come on, guys. You're both friends here. Yeah, I think we probably got, like, every item that we need to set filter. Maybe not. We still probably need a couple of items. But we got the majority of the items that we're going to need for the filters. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know how we're going to get the other ones, but we'll get them. We'll get them. And with these guys in, I got to use some pistons to get some glass over their heads. But other than that, they should be, at least, good and in place here. They might need... Actually, now that I think about it, they probably need name tags. It's a good thing I remembered that. Okay, I gotta hurry. Okay, now we should be fine. Just gotta deal with the finishing touches, and obviously the whole storage room. Now, in order to get a lot of the items, I'm going to send in some gold, and hopefully they'll trade us for, like, a variety of items, and we'll get enough to set the filters for the storage system. Let's make sure it works. Pop, pop, pop. Alright. Yeah, they do need to be closed off. But other than that, I think they're fine. Looks like we didn't break it by putting the piglins in. That's good. Of course, I ran into a few issues. The dispensers, they shot out sometimes, and they completely missed the pressure plate, so I had to rework it. and sometimes the piglins couldn't even grab it. So I switched the orientation of the dispensers around, rewired some of the redstone, and I also finished the build for this piglin hole. And as you can see, it resembles a bastion a little bit, which I am missing some pieces of gold still. But it is meant to represent a bastion, and I also brought in the gold to kind of give that opulent feel that I wanted to try and give. And then up above the doorway leaving out, you see we have the same pattern going on that we have out here. Now, of course, we are missing the bee's nest, but honestly, I really don't feel like farming it. So I'm going to leave it, and unless you guys bully me relentlessly, it's not changing. And I also finished setting up the item filters. So now we have been slowly, in some areas, getting some of the items in. I have only traded with these guys maybe a stack or two just to make sure that the system worked, and so far I haven't noticed too many kinks. Occasionally a piece of gold will get stuck up at top there, but it's a little too infrequent to care that much, and honestly I'm done with redstone for the day, and I want to call it a quits on this project. But before we can do that, we still need to decorate this place and get some item filters in here, maybe some signs. But yeah, we're like 90% of the way done, and now we're at 100%. That's right, with this, the storage room is finished. I kept mostly in theme. I added a lot of basalt up at the roof and then deep slate tiles down here at the floor and shroom lights tucked in for that extra bit of lighting to ensure that zombie piglin and other piglin don't spawn in this area. Now, of course, down here, this is where the actual tunnel is supposed to go. This entire thing runs through our tunnel system. So if we ever have anything in this area, we'll have a tunnel way to expand down there. I also did things like hiding some lighting in these areas because piglin need like 11 light to spawn, and right here it's like 12. So it needed a little bit of extra lighting to ensure that piglins wouldn't spawn. And this area right here probably needs some as well. But I'm honestly not super worried about that. Now, aside from a few little things here and there that I want to add to the nether hub, this project is about as finished as I'd like it to be. There is just one glaring hole in this project, and that is these holes that I dug. Now, I really like them, and they are going to stay. But I am kind of mulling over where I want to put the glass. You see, either we put glass around the center part so we can walk through all the crossways just fine, or we put a faded glass through this way. And I'm kind of leaning more towards a faded glass this way, but I don't know what color to do. So if you guys have any opinions on what kind of glass or like what kind of orientation I should do for this hub, be sure to let me know. Because honestly, at this point, I'm pretty pooped, and I'm ready to just call it a quits for this episode. Oh. And before I forget, while I was building the iron farm, I found this jelly cat and I claimed them. I haven't had a cat since like ocelots were cats. So I was pretty excited to find a jelly cat of all cats. Anyways, I took them home and now they are my pet, but they don't have a name. And that's where I want you guys to tell me what you want me to name this cat. Now, I was thinking something really weird and kind of out of this world, like enchanting table or rotten catnip or something fun that's going to make me do a double take every time I walk past this cat. Today we grinded out this mega gold farm, dug our way through the bedrock ceiling, and created this really cool looking nether hub. And of course we can't forget about our Piglin Bartering farm and the storage system incorporated with it. This project leaves a lot of open doors for different farms we could put down here in the nether, and other random projects that we can do in the area. But now at least we have a little bit of infrastructure in the nether, and we're not just working off a tiny little room I dug out in the first 100 days. If you guys have any ideas for things that you want to see me do in the nether or even in any of the future episodes, you know what to do. Leave a comment, tell me what you want to see, and I'll be happy to consider it. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am about out of time for today's episode. I really appreciate you watching this far, and I hope you have a wonderful day.